Good morning, my name is Nathan Gill. I'm head of services for Verifone Europe, and I'm joined today in Studio V with Dave Birch, who is the head of innovation for Consult Hyperion. Dave, thanks very much for being here at Money 2020.
Thanks for the invitation.
Absolutely. So we're surrounded here with a lot of professionals across the banking and payments industries, a lot of C-level executives, and I feel as in last year there's a lot of discussion about PSD2. Let me ask you, what concrete things do you see actually occurring with PSD2? Because it is a constantly recurring theme, but you hear very few concrete things. Is this overplayed, or do you think that we'll see a tidal wave of change?
My general feeling is that I think people are underestimating the impact of the open banking migration. You know, PSD2 is just getting underway. Because people haven't seen massive changes instantly, they're like, well, what's going on? But you have to understand what's going on under the surface. This means a really serious change to the structure of the industry. The fact that the big retailers, big service providers, the internet giants can get direct access to consumer bank accounts, I mean, you know, with consumers' permission, of course, means a big change in the way payments are going to be handled in the future. In the future, the retailer is going to go to the bank account and instruct the transfer directly, which, you know, to consumers is a debit proposition. It doesn't need any selling. It's like the money comes out of your account and goes to Carrefour's account or Tesco's account. The fact it doesn't use any of the existing rails is not visible to the consumer, but to us, it means a huge change in the industry.
And how will that transaction actually take place? Will it be through mobile applications? How do you actually see the consumer giving permission for that direct transfer to occur?
Yeah, I think for most people, for most of the time in the foreseeable future, you're absolutely right. This is going to sort of shift to mobile. So what will happen is your British Airways application, you know, something will pop up which says, hey Dave, next time you buy a ticket, let's not bother those nice people at American Express because they're so busy with all those transactions. So we'll just take the money from your bank account. And then you give BA access to your bank account, they instruct a credit transfer, you've okayed it, cardholder was present is the kind of idea. You've okayed it, and then they instruct. And because these push payments are so, you know, there's no authorization, no settlement, it's just you push and that's it. It's basically a more efficient way to do payments. So in the long run, we have that transition. In the UK, the new payments architecture is a push payments architecture. So I think you have these big changes and people don't see it. It's like that kind of tip of the iceberg thing. But you're just beginning to see the first few changes. You see Deutsche Bank and IATA saying they're going to build the, you know, the credit transfer front end so the airlines can bypass credit cards. You know, you're just beginning to see these first changes. So my general feeling is there is a lot of talk about it, but actually I feel people are underestimating the magnitude of these changes.
And so in the retail space specifically, when consumers are initiating a bank transfer at point of sale, is it initiated by their bank application, or do the retailers themselves, do you think, create mobile applications?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, I always feel that the best retail experience is going to come from the retailer. Like, nobody's going to make a better Tesco experience than Tesco. So the Tesco Pay Quick application is the natural place to put this. And because of the way the consents and permissions work, you can easily see, you know, you'll get the message from Tesco, is it okay, £10.21, you hit okay. And then after a while, you're just like, you know, if it's coming from Tesco, if it's under £30, you know, just okay it and let me know. And you can see the sophistication of the services building on that. The kind of, remember in the old days we used to call it the decoupled debit proposition, you know, you're basically paying with your loyalty card. I can sort of see us heading back in that direction.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see that confluence of loyalty and payment coming onto a mobile app.
And because of that, you know, the retailers have plenty of margin to play with. So if they say to you, hey, we're going to use Carrefour Pay Magnifique, you know, which is actually SEPA credit transfer, and if you do this, you get double loyalty points or something. I mean, they can heavily incentivize consumers to migrate to those new channels. So yeah, it's going to be big.
Well, it's getting harder and harder for retailers to make strong business cases for investments. This may be one that's a slam dunk.
I think that it won't just be the investment in the payment. You know, this kind of the new POS, you know, the POS as platform kind of thing is a much bigger play, isn't it? I mean, it isn't just the payments. But you're right, open banking will stimulate some of the bigger retailers in particular to start those migrations.
And is there anything that companies like Verifone can do to help merchants begin to adapt some of this new technology and enable direct bank transfers at point of sale?
I mean, you'll think this is a plug, but the UK is a laboratory for this right now because of the odd situation in the UK where we have the Competition and Markets Authority open banking already in place. You know, the big banks in the UK already have the open APIs. We have PSD2 coming. We have this open data stuff. The UK is actually an amazing laboratory for trying some of this new stuff out. So yeah, I mean, they should be building and playing with this stuff right now.
Excellent. Well, David, thank you very much for joining me today. Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your time at Money 2020.
Thanks, and thanks for having me.